Hey everybody, welcome to Easy Italian with Franco. Benvenuti, you're all welcome. You know, it's no wonder that Italian food is one of the most requested cuisines in the whole world. So we're gonna prepare something nice for you that's kind of easy to prepare, gives you that full Italian flavor and gust without all the fuss. So, that being said, we're gonna prepare a beautiful 3-course meal for you. We're gonna start off with a homemade ricotta. That's right, you heard me. Homemade ricotta, none of that store-bought stuff. This stuff is delicious and it'll make your friends crazy, and I'll show you how simple it is. Also, we're gonna do a beautiful main course with shrimp, oreganata, over a bed of spaghetti squash. We will then, of course, go decadent and make you a beautiful Napoleon dessert with whipped cream and berries. And then we need something very refreshing, so we're gonna make you a gorgeous little drink I like to call the Capriccioso. So here we go. Stick around and we're gonna show you how to do that right now. Okay, we've got 3 very simple ingredients to make ricotta. That's all you need. But the flavor, the texture will surpass anything you'll ever buy in the store. Here we go. Got about 4 cups of milk in. At this time, we want to add just a little bit of sea salt, just to kind of give it a little bit of flavor. We're going to let this come to a very slow rolling boil. You don't want it to overboil. But as soon as it starts to boil, we're going to add some fresh lemon juice to it and start the curdling process. So, while this is waiting to come to a slow rolling boil, we're going to make a hot honey with Calabrian chilies. Calabrian chilies come from the southern region of Italy, in Calabria, and they're kind of pungent and they have a very fruity kind of a texture and smell to them as well. And it reminds me when I was a little boy rolling in the hills of Italy with my grandfather. We'd wake up nice and early and go up the mountain. And on our way up the mountain, we meet all the mountain folks that would live up there, and they would insist that you come into the house and have some of their homemade ricotta. They're making it with this big old spoon, and then they'd hand you a plate and they'd scoop out a big plop of it. And every time I make this, it brings me back, and I want to share it with you. So here's what we do. Get the pan out. Done. Cutting board, done. Safety first. Always have something underneath for stability. That's not going anywhere. Get your knife, get the Calabrian chili, break a piece off. Let's quickly get this Calabrian chili opened, ready to roll. Into the hot pan, it goes like this. Get the honey. Honey goes in, and that's all there is to it. Remember, this is easy Italian. It doesn't have to be complicated. We're gonna let that come up to a slow simmer. Once it starts bubbling, reduce the heat, let it sit for about half an hour. It's gonna perfume the honey beautifully and give you the hot honey you're looking for. Let's check in on the milk right here. Slowly but surely, it's coming up to a boil. We're gonna just crank up the heat a little bit more to kind of help that along. All right, so while this takes about 3 to 5 minutes to come up to a slow boil, we'll keep an eye on this hot honey that we've just made for you. It's approximately 3 ounces of honey and about, well, it's depending on your taste. You like it spicy, I like it spicy. I got about 2 inches of that beautiful Calabrian chili off of that puppy. The whole thing would just be way too much. Oh, forget about it. So right here, we've got the milk. It's coming to a slow boil. We're gonna get ready to add the fresh lemon juice, and we're gonna begin the curdling process. Excellent. All right, so the milk has come up to a nice rolling boil. We are now getting ready to add the lemon juice to create the ricotta. We're gonna go in very, very slowly at first and then dump it really quickly and stir and then leave it alone. Don't touch it. Watch. Boom. Easy Italian. You can see right there the milk is starting to curdle. You create these beautiful, beautiful little stracciatelle, as we like to call them in Italian. They mean little rags. While that's working, we're gonna take a look at our hot honey over here. This puppy's almost ready. We're gonna shut that off, let it sit for about 15 minutes. It's gonna perfume that honey and make it nice and spicy. So this should sit for about a couple of minutes to let the milk take full effect. We're then gonna strain it, and you'll have the beautiful curdles of the homemade ricotta cheese. Easy, right? I know. All right, great. The milk has curdled. We have beautiful ricotta. We're now gonna strain it. Bowl, sieve with some cheesecloth. Very slowly, we're gonna pour this. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Forget about it. This reminds me so much of being a child in Italy and watching people make this for me and my grandfather. I'm so happy to bring this to you. Almost there. Great. Now while that's straining, you can see right here, you have thick, luscious ricotta cheese. It's kind of piping hot right now, but once you let it cool down, boy, oh boy, the flavors really do come together. All right, while this is straining, we're just gonna check for texture and flavor. Get a little bit of the ricotta right here. You know, the lemon makes a real big difference. When you buy ricotta, usually they use vinegar. I mean, I don't have a problem with vinegar, but I'd rather use lemon because flavoring things with lemon is a lot more palatable than flavoring things with vinegar. So choosing lemon is a great way to go. You can also infuse lemon zest. You can whip all kinds of fruit juices into that too to make it really creative, and I'm gonna show you how. Takes me back. All right, here we have the ricotta we just made. I folded in some fresh herbs, roasted garlic to kind of really amp up that flavor. We're just gonna plate this in here as such. I didn't get my hot honey out, but that's all right. Some homemade crostini bread for texture. And then, don't forget the hot honey. And don't forget to clean up the mess while you're at it too. There you have it. Ricotta, homemade, the easy way. This beautiful ricotta dish reminds me so much of being a child in southern Italy, visiting my grandfather. We would take that trip up the mountain to go visit the mountain folk, if you will, and they would insist that you come into their home and have some of their homemade ricotta. We've got the Calabrian chilies infused into the hot honey. You've got the honey, you've got the salty, beautiful ricotta, you've got some lovely crostini bread. Get the food out of here. This is fantastic. Once you make this, you're never gonna buy it again. Trust me. All right, welcome back. I told you we're gonna make a beautiful spaghetti dish with shrimp oreganata. We're gonna use this as the pasta component. We have our spaghetti squash, readily available in most stores now. It's a beautiful product, very nutritious and very low in calories, mind you. We have here some granulated garlic for flavoring. We have some dried oregano and basil for aromatics. We have a little bit of sea salt going on, and we have some homemade shrimp stock. In preparation, you clean and devein the shrimp, take the shells out, Put them in a little saute pan with the mirepoix vegetables consisting of carrots, celery, and onion. You sweat them down, fill it with water, let it sit for about 2-3 hours and reduce, and you have a beautiful homemade stock. Now you could certainly use chicken stock if you prefer, but go the extra step. You'll want to do it. So here we go. Let's get this beautiful vegetable pasta. There is a lot of talk about how they cut it. Some folks like to cut it this way, and it's beautiful for presentations. You can use it as a bowl and eat from it. I like cutting it this way because I feel like you get more strands of pasta that look more like a spaghetti. So here we go. Go in halfway, be very careful, push down. Turn to the other side, repeat, push down. The knife is always away from your fingers. Now you've got these beautiful seeds in there, or guts as we like to call it. What we like to do now is get some sort of spoon with a little bit of a sharper edge to it, and we're gonna go right in and scrape out the membrane and the seeds out. A nice thing to do with these seeds is you can toast them, a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, throw them in the oven. You've got some beautiful seeds there for snacking. As you can see, the seeds come out and they fall all over the place, but that's okay. This is cooking. It's supposed to happen. Starting from the sides, turn slowly. The spoon, steady with the hand, turn the vegetable, not the other way around. You'll save yourself a lot of strain in the kitchen. Once the seeds have been removed, we will go ahead and season the spaghetti squash and get it into a preheated 375-degree oven for about 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes, that's all. That's all it takes. Now, a little bit of coarse sea salt in. A little bit of the seasonings, dried oregano and dried basil, or as we say, basilico. We have some granulated garlic, and granulated over fresh because, again, we're looking to perfume this pasta. This is the best way to do it. We're gonna take a little bit of our homemade stock. We're gonna add about a ½ ounce in each one. ½ ounce. We wanna take advantage of the steaming to help separate the strands and also impart a lot of flavor. A little pan like this to hold it up and catch all of the juices so nothing spills into your oven. Holding it upright. We're gonna get it into the oven, as we said, 375 degrees. So while the spaghetti squash is roasting in the oven at 375, we're gonna build our sauce and get the shrimp ready. Aromatics, a beautiful onion. Nothing like an onion. Sweet, caramely flavor. Just gonna get this cleaned up for you. Get that papery exterior off of the onion. You know, a lot of times, if you're making a stew or a soup, you can use that outer layer. It'll break down and it's fine. But I tend to find that's a little bit fibrous-y. And so what we like to do is take it out. And now we're left with a beautiful, clear, white onion. We're gonna take the onion and we're just gonna do a very thin cut, get it in there and get it cooking. So here we go. It's about a ½ an onion. For one portion, it's fine. For 2 people, use the whole onion. We're making 1 portion now. In. A little extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is the best. First pressed, savory, flavorful, delicious. We're gonna move it around like that a little bit. Get these onions cooking, caramelized. While the onions are going, we're gonna get the garlic prepared. You could add the garlic right away, but then it tends to brown and get a little bit of bitter. So with the onions in there acting as a buffer, it'll protect the garlic from getting too cooked. Now, when chopping garlic, it's kind of tricky because it's kind of weird. You could address it like an onion. I like to smash it. And here we go. beautiful little pieces of garlic in. I don't know if you can smell this, but right now my whole house is perfumed with beautiful aromatics, and I didn't even do anything yet. So here we go. While this is cooking, it takes about approximately 2 to 3 minutes. You're going to want to see the onions translucent in color. You don't want to really get them brown. You kind of want to sweat them out. They're natural sugars so that it adds to the extra flavor of the dish. So after about 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to add a little bit of coarse sea salt, open up its flavor. We have that homemade shrimp stock that we talked about. Really delicious. You should try it at home. I'm going to use approximately 6 ounces of that. It will reduce, some of it will escape, and we'll reserve half of it for the rest of the dish, and I'll show you how. As you can see right here, the onions are getting nice and soft, translucent in color. They're rendering their sweetness out into this beautiful sauce, the garlic. We are going to take probably the greatest secret in the biz, this immersion blender. If you don't have one of these puppies, you need to get one. It'll make your life so easy. So we take this beautiful sauce and we're just going to cream it. And what that does is it's going to actually thicken this beautiful sauce without adding any roux, without adding any kind of flour, gluten, none of that stuff. We don't really want to try to achieve a super smooth consistency. What we're looking for is just getting the onion to thicken this gorgeous sauce. Now we're going to take a little bit of basil right here, a couple of sprigs. I like fresh basil. I grow it in my yard. You should too. Just a little bit at the moment. We're going to grab it. We're going to roll it over. Most people call this a chiffonade. It's a French technique term. You don't want big chunks of basil in there, but you want it just enough to perfume the rest of that sauce, because this is going to make you crazy. So while that's going on, we talked about shrimp oreganata. Oreganata is a beautiful crusted technique with breadcrumbs. Take the pan, get that hot. 1 beautiful pat of butter, and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. The extra virgin olive oil raises the smoke temperature, or as we say in Italian, il punto di fumo, raises it so the butter doesn't burn. We're going to get this beautiful butter nice and melted into the olive oil. Add some seasoned breadcrumbs to it right there. Bet you were wondering what this garlic is doing. Yep, you guessed it, it's going in there too. Get that all up in there. We're going to toast it all nice together. And when that comes together, you're going to have a very beautiful, flavorful crust that goes on top of your shrimp. It's going to make you crazy. Thought I had some parsley here. Beautiful fresh parsley. Going to grab a little bit too. I'm just going to do a quick rough chop on the parsley. Chop it up. Get it all up in there. I'm going to continue to stir. Get this all nice and delicious. Let that cook for a little bit. As you can smell it now, you're getting the nuttiness from the butter. The garlic is coming through. That oreganata is looking really good. I'm going to reduce this sauce a little bit. This is looking beautiful. We're going to take that spaghetti squash out of the oven. A nice roasted spaghetti squash. You're going to take your fork and pull these beautiful strands apart like that. Remember how we talked about cutting it in this direction? The strands resemble more of a spaghetti. And you continue this, so you're taking it all out, get it into your plate, and then we're going to add it to our sauce. These beautiful toasted and seasoned breadcrumbs are done. We're going to transfer them to a bowl right here. I really wish you guys could smell this. This is so good. It wasn't so difficult, right? Breadcrumbs, butter, olive oil, garlic, seasoning, done. We're going to take this pan right here. It's still nice and hot. Get a non-stick. It's worth every penny. Easy Italian, right? Okay. Let's get this back up to temperature. Same thing. Extra virgin olive oil, this staple of all Italian cooking. We're going to give this a pat of butter as well, just to give it a luxurious, rich, and velvety flavor. I'm going to let that go like this, and it's ready for the shrimp. We're going to take the shrimp, we're going to now add it to the pan, and get it nice and crispy. Shrimp number one. We like to start from 12 o'clock and work our way clockwork so that you know exactly which shrimp is cooking. You don't want to flip the wrong shrimp at the wrong time. You want even cooking temperatures and consistencies on all products. It's looking really good. We're going to give it a little hit of sea salt just to kind of get it seasoned as well. So let that go for about a minute, minute and a half on either side. Flip it over. Then we're going to add our beautiful gremolata. But while that's going, we got this gorgeous sauce. The spaghetti squash that we pulled apart, as you can see, looks very much like a pasta and a spaghetti. We're going to take it, add it to this gorgeous sauce right here. We're going to let that go for a little bit to just absorb all that beautiful sauce that we got going on here. This dish is basically done. Easy cooking. We're just waiting for the shrimp. Once that's done, we're going to add it to the plate and we'll show you what it looks like. The shrimp looks kind of beautiful. We're going to flip it over. I like to add a little bit of that beautiful seasoned breadcrumb on it now. It'll stick to it. It's more accepting of the breadcrumbs now that it's kind of soft and cooking. It's vulnerable, if you will. Almost ready. Let's get the plate. Let's get this together. We will nest our beautiful pasta together. Oh boy, I'm going crazy. This smells absolutely delicious. Shrimp is just about ready. I'll give it another 30 seconds, and then we're going to put this right on. In the middle. We're going to hit it a little bit more of the breadcrumb there. This is an oreganata. Boom. A little bit more fresh parsley. Rough chop, of course. And there you have it. Shrimp oreganata the easy way. All right, so we've got the appetizer, done. We've got the main course, done. Now we've got to get a dessert. Here's what we're gonna do that's nice and easy. Got some filo dough right here. Open it up, stretch it out. Very, very gently. You don't wanna grab too many because you want it to be extremely flaky when you have your dessert. We're gonna place it on a sheet pan with a non-stick pad underneath it to prevent any sticking whatsoever. We're gonna take a little bit of melted butter. We're just gonna simply, lightly coat this with some melted butter. This will give it a rich, buttery texture. It'll also add a little bit of moisture to it and help it flake up, nice and crispy. Kind of like those angel wings you had when you were a kid, if you remember. While we add that butter, we're gonna take a little bit of flake sugar. We're gonna dust it just lightly, because as you'll see, we'll have some sweet cream coming along in just a little bit. That's approximately 2, maybe 3 sheets of filo dough. Again, not too many. We're gonna grab about another 2 or 3 sheets right here. These are really, really tricky and you gotta work fast. A lot of times you can prevent the drying out if you just put a little moist rag on top of it. It'll prevent it from cracking. Just like this, right on top of that butter. So in total, we've got about 5, 6 sheets, no more. Again, a beautiful smear of this gorgeous butter. Unsalted butter, by the way. Salted butter is not real butter. Don't use it. Once we have that butter, like so, another dusting of this beautiful sugar, just to kind of keep it nice and sweet. We're gonna get a cutter and cut these into perfect squares. We've got 8 perfect squares. And then to prevent this from bubbling up too much, we want an even consistency. We're gonna grab another tray of the same kind right on top. This will keep everything nice and straight and crispy. Back into the 375-degree oven. Approximately 6 to 8 minutes. You gotta keep an eye on it because it will burn on you. While that's working in there, we're gonna make our cream and get everything ready. Here we go. So while the crispy Napoleons are working in the oven at 375, we're gonna go ahead and make this cream. What we have here is about 6 ounces of heavy whipping cream. Ice cold, make sure it's cold. Very, very important. We're gonna take 1 tablespoon of sugar, a couple of zests of a fantastic lemon. This will give it a very, very beautiful aromatic essence to it. Also adds a little bit of acidity to it as well. The fat of the cream actually clogs every pore on your tongue. The acidity cleanses it off, so every single bite is new and exciting every single time. Kind of like a roller coaster ride. You go up, then you go down, then you go up, then you go down. Forget about it, you know what I mean. Anyway, here we go. That is looking fantastic. You don't want to over-process it, as I said. If you do, you can end up with butter. But right now, we're going to leave the cream here. We're going to check the oven to make sure the crispy filo dough is ready. Here we go. If we did this right, we should have nice, straight, crispy shells. That is beautiful. It's exactly what we want. So we're gonna let these cool down just a little bit, and then we're gonna layer them with this beautiful decadent cream we've made and some fresh berries. Stick around. So after the Napoleon squares have cooled down, we can begin plating. First, we're gonna decorate our plate. What I have here is 2 squeeze bottles. I made a very simple white chocolate glaze. I'm gonna put that right around the plate like this. You want to make it look beautiful and romantic for the wife. Give it a little shake. Perfect. Gonna grab a little bit of our chocolate sauce. Very gently put 1 nice little ring around this plate. And kind of pretty, isn't it? Take a little bit of our beautiful cream in the center. That's going to hold the first shell. These are very delicate, so be very, very careful. I'm going to plate that here. That's going to hold it in place. I'm going to put a nice little dollop of cream right there smack in the middle. A few of these gorgeous berries. These are fresh berries. Whatever berries you have available, you can use. I like strawberries. I like the contrast in color. I like the colors to pop. We're gonna go in the opposite direction to give it some variety. We're gonna hit it with another beautiful dollop of this gorgeous cream, perfumed with lemon, sweetened very gently. And you're gonna repeat this over and over till you get about 3 or 4 layers. It's entirely up to you. The higher you go, the harder it is to crack. Another little lemon zest right on the top, just to kind of open that up. Feel like getting creative. A little bit more of that gorgeous, luscious chocolate sauce. And there you have it, a Napoleon, the easy way. So we prepared this beautiful Napoleon for you with fresh berries and homemade cream. And speaking of Naples, Capri is a wonderful island off the coast and kind of owned and run by Naples, if you know what I'm talking about. But some of the most popular drinks in all of Italy, including Capri, is a very herbaceous, delicious digestivo aperitivo. Limoncello is extremely popular, and they make some of the best limoncello in the world down there, and Prosecco. So why not combine all three to make a cocktail that'll just go great with this dessert. In a shaker, we add ½ ounce Campari. We will then add 1 1/2 ounces of limoncello, a healthy sprig of mint. We're gonna bruise it, put it inside the cup. We're gonna choo-choo this, and by choo-choo I mean this. We then strain into a prepped glass with beautiful lemons and orange from the Isle of Capri. Topped off with the Prosecco as mentioned. And for another added wow factor, another sprig of mint. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a capricious drink, Capriccioso. Wonderful way to go with the dessert. Okay, so what we have prepared for you is a beautiful appetizer made with homemade ricotta, Calabrian chili infused hot honey, drizzled into the ricotta, a little bit of roasted garlic, and some fresh crostini bread. For the main course, we have shrimp oreganata made perfectly over a bed of spaghetti squash. For dessert, this absolutely fabulous Napoleon layered with decadent cream and fresh berries. And what we have here is a beautiful capricious drink from Capri called the Capriccioso. Oh boy, does that really hit the spot. Hey, I just want to give a big thank you to RKO Limited Designs for this beautiful kitchen you see behind me here. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much, Steve. I'm also very grateful to have had the opportunity to prepare these beautiful dishes for you today. And do expect you to tune in next time. So please remember that whether near or far, from the kitchen to the bar, I'm Franco Benvenuti, and I'm all about the food. See you next time, and God bless.